All right, good morning, everyone. Let me begin by just saying thank you for taking the time to serve on the Orange County Sustainability and Resilience Committee. One of my top priorities as mayor is to enhance Orange County's sustainability and resiliency efforts. Although the crisis before us has presented some challenges for us, it has not kept us from defining the term resilience for our community and our countywide operations. I believe this is a time and opportunity for us to build a better tomorrow while protecting our built and natural assets for future generations. We can do this while creating sustainable jobs and providing a more inclusive and healthy future for all of us. I created the Sustainability and Resilience Committee because I firmly believe that a comprehensive plan of action with meaningful solutions that will have a lasting impact on our ability to meet and scale the challenges before us. I've selected two wonderful individuals from our community to help lead us in this effort. We have selected Ms. Layla Jamal and Mr. Byron Net as co-chairs to lead this collaborative effort. Both of them are well known in our community and have worked around the sustainability issues for quite some time. Layla Jamal is a professional engineer and vice president at NV5 Engineering Services, and Byron Net is a former vice president with Orlando Utilities Commission. The launch of the Orange County Sustainability and Resilience Committee is essential as we work together to create an action plan for the future. I also want to introduce the county's first Chief Sustainability and Resilience Officer, Mr. Jeff Benavides. We are excited to have Jeff on board and part of the county team. Let me just say again, thank you for your willingness to serve, all of you, and we look forward to the leadership from Layla and Byron, and thank you to both of them for your leadership and willingness to serve in this capacity. We look forward to working with you all in the coming years. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to the chairs.
Thank you, Mayor. This is Jeff Benavides. Just wanted to say good morning again, and thank you, Mayor, for joining us today. Just a couple of WebEx housekeeping items for those of you that are just joining in. If you're not speaking, you can go ahead and mute your line, as well as you can join in on app and by phone too if you have any issues with your computer or video during today's call. Most of today will be a briefing just to kind of welcome everybody, get everyone up to speed as to what the work we've been up to for the last several months. And we will also be doing some open discussion, but a lot of those discussions will happen at the focus group meeting for the next round. So at this time, I'll go ahead and introduce Layla Jamal for a welcome, and Byron Net as well.
Thank you. Good morning. I think you can hear me, but not see me. Jeff, can you hear me?
Layla, we can hear you. We can't see you, but
okay, very good. All right. So let me just start by saying I'm honored to be a part of this committee, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you on this very important initiative that the mayor just outlined for us. And I'm looking forward to also getting to know my chair, Byron, a little bit more. Byron?
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Byron Net here. Just want to welcome everybody, and I'm really just like, I'm looking forward to working with everyone to actually help the county to put together a plan so that we can have a great sustainable and resilient project done. So thank you.
go ahead and
Well, I would like to move on. I just want to say, I'm going to be doing the introduction of the members now. So as I introduce you from the committee members roster, I would like you to please introduce yourself by stating your full name, title, and business affiliation. Also, please tell us what excites you about this Orange County initiative. So I'm looking forward to hear what you guys have to say. Let me start out by introducing myself. As the mayor indicated, my name is Byron Net. I retired from Orlando Utilities Commission a year ago as the Vice President of Emerging Technologies. And I currently serve on the Orange County Sustainability Advisory Board. I can say that I'm excited and looking forward to be working with you all and the Orange County staff to develop a workable business plan which will enhance Orange County sustainable and resilient operational goals, which in turn will benefit the Orange County residents. So I'll start off with the first person. And as you can see, you can follow the list. Is the list up there? On the
yeah, on the PowerPoint page.
Yeah. It's what?
Page 9.
Okay, page 9 on the PowerPoint. I'll start off there by calling out the first person. And the first person is Adele Shalaby. Page 1. If you would introduce yourself.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Abdul Ati. I am Adele, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry.
No problem. Adele here. Can you guys hear me and see me?
Yes, we can hear you. If you would just state your name, your title, and
my name is Adele Shalaby. I am with Roads and Beto Architects. I am glad and honored to be part of this committee. Thank Jeff for nominating me and coming into and being part of this. I look forward to working with everybody at this committee to look for ways to provide sustainable environment for everybody in the community. I'm part of Orange County also, so I would look forward to for this effort.
Okay, well, thank you. Next person, Alex Shears.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes.
You can? Okay, good. I can't get the video to work, which is probably better for all of us. My name's Alex Pricer, and I'm the president of a company called Mitigation Marketing, and which is a green company. Our business is actually, preserving natural areas. So I'm excited to be a part of this sustainability board for the county.
Okay. Next person, Ashia McMillan.
Hi, my name is Asia McMillan. I am a member of the Orange County Arts and Cultural Affairs Sustainability Committee, but prior to that, I was working at United Arts Central Florida as a research and grants intern. I'm excited to sit on this board and see if I can help bridge the gap between the other committee I sit on and this one and the overall goals for Orlando sustainability.
All right, thank you. Bill Bradford.
Good morning. My name is Bill Bradford. I'm a senior vice president and also the principal in charge of energy, sustainability, and resiliency for Hanson Professional Services. It's a national engineering firm. Kudos to the mayor and also to our CSRO for this wonderful undertaking. Central Florida has been a leader in sustainability and resiliency for a long time, and I'm just excited to be a part of continuing on with this in the planning effort.
Thank you. CT. Sure. CT. Sure. He's there.
He's on mute.
He's on mute. Yeah.
There we go.
CT. Sure.
Okay, I needed to get myself unmuted.
Could you speak up, please? I don't think we can hear you that well.
CT President with CT Shu Associates. We are an architecture firm in City of Orlando, Orange County, for almost 36 years now. I'm really excited, and we definitely feel this is the right thing for our county to do, and looking forward to the successful completion of this task.
Thank you. Carlos Torrialba.
Carlos, we'll come back to you. We'll reach out to you for technical issues.
Okay. All right, next person, Derek Farah.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Derek Fair. I'm a project director at WSP. We're an international professional services company. I'm part of our sustainability, energy, and climate change group, focusing on greenhouse gas management and sustainable energy systems over the past 15 years. I'm excited to find some sustainable solutions that enhance value for everyone in the community.
Great, thank you. Ivan, Aron.
Hello, everybody. This is Ivan. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good morning, everybody. I am Ivan Aron, and I represent Siemens. Specifically, I'm the general manager for the Siemens Smart Infrastructure Division here in Central Florida. You probably all know, but I'll state it anyway. We have a large employee presence in this area, 4,500, 5,000 employees in the area, and we are very interested in being part of the discussion towards the future, towards sustainable but also resilient future. So I'm very honored to be part of this task force and honored to be invited by Jeff and by the team to help with this effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Evan. Jennifer?
And by the way, quick statement. Yes. So Aron is with 1A on the last name.
Make that change not the
first one, not the last one. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Zarro. I am the CEO of the Association of Energy Services Professionals. I serve just under 2,300 members throughout the US and Canada, and we focus on energy efficiency, decarbonization, smart communities. So I'm very excited to have the opportunity to work with one of my favorite people again, Byron. Nice to see you. And do what I love to do what I do for my organization, but in my own backyard. So very excited to be able to bring my expertise to my local community.
Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, next, John.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
John.
Hi, everybody. My name is John Gazika, and I'm the biologist in the urban forestry at the University of Central Florida for the past 4 years. I'm absolutely honored to be part of this committee, and I look forward to working with a very diverse group set of people from many different organizations all around Florida, and putting together a very cohesive and comprehensive sustainability plan. Very much looking forward to this.
Thank you, John. Okay, John Martinez. Hello, John Martinez.
Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry, I've had issues this morning. Hey there, thank you, Byron. This is John Martinez. I'm with JP Morgan Private Bank, and I've been involved with Orange County Sustainability for a number of years now, and am very glad to be a part of this and help with the transition and kind of a refresh of what we've already done and move it forward into the future. So thanks for having me part of this.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Kenneth Peach.
Good morning, Byron and all. I'm Ken Peach. I'm the Executive Director of the Health Council of East Central Florida. And I was appointed actually to the Sustainability Advisory Board a year or two back to represent health and social service and social needs. And so I looked down the organizations of those other committee members, and it looks like I'll have a chance to share health with a lot of you who are in other areas and other focuses. So I look forward to it and seeing whatever I can contribute. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Christy Watson. Well, okay, I just got a note here. She'll be late, so we'll come back to that one. Okay, Luis DeVita.
Hello, can everybody hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, I just want to make sure. I'm still getting used to webinars. My name is Luis DeVita. I'm currently I handle governmental affairs for the Florida Waste Haulers and Recyclers Coalition. I have 28 years experience in the state of Florida in all aspects of solid and hazardous waste and recycling. I'm currently a board member, and I have been for the last 19 years, of the Hinckley Center for Solid and Hazardous Waste Management, based out of the University of Florida. I've sat on many different committees and organizations to promote sensible waste management and recycling. I'm a big proponent of zero waste and many other things that I think will be beneficial to the committee and their goals. And I thank you for inviting me to sit on your committee.
All right, thank you. Okay, next person on the list, Madeleine
Almodovar.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. So good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So I am a member at large of the Sustainability Advisory Board for Orange County. I'm very excited about this opportunity. I also am the Natural Resources and Environmental Representative on the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board at Orange County. And I'm an environmental scientist for Jacobs Engineering. And I've done everything from air quality to data management to smart city work, including with the city of Orlando. So I'm really excited to help, bridge some of those initiatives and to create new ones at Orange County and really get this county to be really a future example for other counties in Florida and all over the nation.
Well, thank you. How about Melvin Pittman? Melvin? Okay. I think, Melvin, you're on calling, so I think that's why we can't talk to you. Okay, Mohammed Ati.
Good morning. My name is Mohammed Abdelati. I'm the chair of the Civil, Environmental, and Construction Engineering Department at UCF. I'm also a transportation professor. I have been part of the community for the last 25 years. Did work with many in Orange County and Central Florida on transportation-related issues. I recently established the Smart City Initiative at UCF, where we provide now a master's degree in smart cities, as well as a few undergraduate courses to prepare our new generation to different ideas for smart cities, including sustainability, of course. Of course, I'm happy to serve on the committee. Anything for our community, I would be honored and very happy to help with. As part of my research and education mission, as well as serving the community. So thank you for including me.
Thank you. Monica Sakaras. Monica? Okay. And also, I have two more here. Philip Donovan cannot attend today, and also Rachel Allen cannot attend today. She's on? Okay, so Rachel, I just found out Rachel is here.
Hi, my name is
Hello.
Rachel Allen. I am the director of the Peace and Justice Institute at Valencia College, and I'm also representing our Creating a Resilient Community Network, which is housed at Valencia with the Institute. And so we focus on resiliency among people. So when we think of people, planet, and prosperity, our focus very much is on people, equity, and inclusion. And I'm very grateful and honored to be a part of this group. Thank you.
Thank you. How about Raquel Fernandez? Raquel? So we know that Raquel is here.
Raquel, you can just unmute yourself and you can introduce yourself.
We'll come back. We know you're here. Okay. Okay, Rasham. Sure.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Resham Shearsat. I also go by Ray, if that's easier for everyone. I've been in the sustainability management field for about 15 years, and I'm currently a sustainability project manager at the City of Orlando as of earlier this year. When I joined the Sustainability Advisory Board, I was the director of sustainability at Valencia College for the past 5 years. So I sit in the education seat. And I'm really interested in, how we are going to educate and engage the community around sustainability issues, and more importantly, the sustainability action. So thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. Sam Choi. Hello, Sam.
Raquel is trying to get in because she's texting with me, so she just can't unmute herself.
Okay. Sam,
we'll come back to Sam.
Yeah, we'll come back to Sam. Samuel Graham.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Samuel Graham. I'm President and CEO of Green Path Energy Solutions. I'm also a member of the Orange County Sustainability Board, and thank you for inviting me to participate in this committee meeting. I'm looking forward to serving on this committee with the Orange County Sustainability and Resilience Committee to help address sustainability issues in and about Orange County. So thank you.
Thank you. About next person, Sharon Carson. All right, go ahead. Okay, Sheena Carson.
Shana, you were unmuted. You can go ahead and speak.
Shana? All right. We know she's here, so we come back. How about Susan Glickman?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you so much. Everybody hear me all right?
Yes. Yes.
Great. So I'm the Florida Director of Southern Alliance for Clean Energy, which is a regional organization, obviously across the Southeast region. I've been engaged in climate and energy issues for 20 years now. So I'm so thrilled to be here today, and I am so grateful to Mayor DeMings and Jeff and your team for your leadership. I could say the same for Mayor Betty Dyer and Chris Castro and what's going on. I have my fingers in a little bit of everything from proceedings at the Florida Public Service Commission to what goes on at the legislature, or working with the Association of Counties, which I do a lot and try to influence kind of in the policy arena. We end up working at the state, local, and federal level on various things, because that's what's really called on. I helped to initiate the Tampa Bay Regional Resiliency Coalition, and I sit on the steering committee as well for the East Central Florida Regional Resiliency Collaborative. So anyway, I'm here to serve and be of use to all of you and to the county. So thanks for having me.
Thank you, Susan. Okay, Susie Torres.
Good morning, Susie Torres. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Wonderful. Well, good morning, everyone. And I'm sorry the camera isn't working, having a little bit of technical issues here today. But I'm Susie Torres. I am the Global Technology Leader for City Resilience at Jacobs. I joined Jacobs in January, and I moved to Orlando in January. I bring 29 years of local government experience from South Florida. The last 10, 11 years really focused on sustainability, resilience, and climate adaptation. And my last position was at the City of Miami Beach as the Chief Resilience Officer and Assistant City Manager. So I am very excited to be part of this team, very excited to be involved in local government in my new hometown. And so I want to thank Jeff, and I want to thank the mayor for this opportunity, and I look forward to working with all of you and some new faces and some friendly faces from the past. So I look forward to working with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Susie. Okay, Theo Webster.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I'm retired from the Bob Carr Performing Arts Center and currently sit on the Arts and Cultural Affairs Advisory Council. I'm also a member of MetroPlan Orlando's Community Advisory Committee, and I'm very interested in finding out how the arts can be more sustainable from all you experts out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Tommy Bird. I don't think Tommy is with us today. Okay, so we'll move on. Jada Watson.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jada Watson Cologne. I'm a sustainability specialist for the University of Central Florida. Part of my job is working towards operational sustainability, and then the combining side with that is managing our behavioral transition with sustainability on campus. I'm really looking forward to being part of this committee and seeing how this strategic plan can serve not just those affluent communities in Orange County, but how we can take care of our marginalized communities here as well, and make Orange County a place where after students graduate, they want to reside so we can retain that talent locally. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris Castro.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Chris Castro. I'm with the City of Orlando. I'm our Director of Sustainability and Resilience and the Senior Advisor to Orlando Mayor Betty Dyer. Also help to co-chair our Future Ready Steering Committee, which is essentially our Smart Cities initiative at the City of Orlando. I'm very active in the community, sit on about a dozen different nonprofit and academic boards, including Ideas for Us, the U.S. Green Building Council of Florida, and recently the chair now of the Florida Solar Energy Center, the Clean Energy Research Institute for the state. I'm honored to join you, Mayor DeMings, Jeff, Byron, and team for this excellent, and of course this excellent committee, amazing friends who I've been able to get to know over the years, and some who I haven't been able to, so look forward to that. And my excitement on this is to bridge the gap between the work that Orlando has been doing and leading in terms of sustainability over the number of years, and try to create continuity, to expand our impact, and to continue to position our city, our county, and our region as a leader in smart, sustainable, and resilient communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. David Dunn.
Good morning to everyone. It's nice to connect again with so many of my friends. I am the Division Manager for Fleet and Facilities for the City of Orlando. Have been involved with Greenworks Orlando since its inception. Have worked with many of the people that are on the committee and look forward to what I can bring to assist with my 49 years of experience in fleet, facilities, and sustainability. And just am thrilled to be a part of this august group. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Jim Backer. Couldn't make it. Oh God, Jim will not be here today. Okay. Jennifer Rupert.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to serve and work with you. I work for the East Central Florida Regional Planning Council as their resilience officer, working to lift a new resilience collaborative up in our region. And thank you to many of you for serving in that capacity on committees we put together. I'm really looking forward to working and learning from many of you in ways that we can not only leverage our work, but our networks to increase resilience within Orange County. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, John Scott. John Slott, you just need to unmute yourself.
Look at that. Isn't technology fun? Hello, I'm John Slott with the Central Florida Regional Transportation Authority. I serve as the Chief Innovation Officer for the agency. Really focused on innovation, sustainability, technologies, maintenance activities, as well as our mobility services work. It's really a pleasure to be a part of this community. I look forward to seeing how this committee can add and enhance our community, especially in this time of crisis, to really double down and focus on sustainability, to create a community that we can all be proud of in the coming decade and next century. This is really a phenomenal group, and I look forward to working with all these familiar faces. Thank you, Byron.
Thank you. Next, Judith and Jared. Yes. Just need to unmute. Judith.
Get that. Did I do it?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Good morning again, Byron and everyone. I'm Judith Ann Jarrett, Assistant Director of Operations for the Greater Orlando Aviation Authority. My role is to oversee the airfield at Orlando International Airport. Jeff, Mayor DeMings, I want to thank you for this wonderful opportunity. I'm the former sustainability manager for the authority, and I continue to hold that role until the position will be filled. I really look forward to working with all of you and to learning from all of you. So thank you again.
Thank you, Judith. Okay, Christopher Singer.
Yes, good morning, Mayor, Chairman. Thank you for having me here. I'm Chris Stanger, Assistant Director of Building, Permitting, and Sustainability for the City of Winter Park. I'm an architect, building official, and sustainability director for Winter Park. We here in the City of Winter Park have a sustainability action plan that took us, a year and a half or more to go through. So I kind of understand the task at hand here. And like Chris Castro said, it's important for us here in Winter Park, being within Orange County, to be a participant in the development of this. So we're really looking forward, and thank you for the invitation to have us participate.
You are Nicole Kennedy.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good morning. I'm Nicole Kennedy. I'm the Sustainability Coordinator with the City of Apopka. We're the second largest municipality in Orange County. And we're very excited to be a part of the committee. Thank you to Jeff and Mayor DeMings for putting this committee together and including Apopka to be a part of that. I'm just kind of looking at the different committee members, and I'm so excited to see committee members from different sectors, the public and the private sector. I think we all really have a lot to learn from each other, and we can really do some really cool collaborating. So very excited to work with all of you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. At this time, we'll go back through the list for some of those that joined a little bit late. We'll start out with Raquel.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. I finally figured it out. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mayor DeMings and Jeff, for having me here and giving me the opportunity to be part of this team. I am very happy and honored to be part of this committee and work with amazing organizing people. I am the organizer for the Sierra Club. My work entails in working with frontline and fenceless communities to amplify their voices and promote community-driven solutions against fossil fuel pollution and other environmental injustices. And I look forward from learning from you all and working with all of you as well.
Okay. Thank you, Raquel. We'll go over to Monica. I think you got on. No. All right, I will come back. Shayna Carson, did you get the audio back working?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes. Hi, Monica.
Hi, this is Monica Socarras. I'm an organizer with Q-Latinx, as well as the Jobs with Justice Board and their Climate Justice Alliance. Our organization is particularly interested in supporting folks at the front line, the intersection of gender and race. And I do climate and healing organizing with the group. So thank you for inviting me to be part of this committee. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you. Graham did. Sam Che, if you can try again, we're going to come back.
Hey, good morning. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
I'm Sam Che. I'm the manager of emerging technologies and renewables with OUC, and I'm responsible for helping OUC in terms of growing its clean energy portfolio and also advancing enabling and transformative technologies for the company to help meet its strategic objectives, covering anything from solar, battery storage, electrification, and distributed technologies. So very happy to connect with you all and to be here as well.
Okay. Let's see. Melvin Pittman, unfortunately, is attending, but he is by phone only and was having some issues. So just for everybody's benefit, Melvin Pittman, formal Orange County employee here and has been a member of our Sustainability Advisory Board for about 5 years now, since its inception. So we welcome Melvin back again, and thank you for your service here. Shayna, one last call for you, see if we can try to get your audio working. I see you there, but...
Can you hear me?
There you are.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to be a part of this. I'm Shayna Carson. I'm an attorney in Orlando. I'm part of the Sustainability Advisory Board. I am really excited to do some of the initiatives we've been talking about since I joined in the fall. And I'm excited to learn from all of you. Thanks for having me.
All right, thank you. All right, Carlos Torrealba is also on the line. I believe we're having some audio issues with him getting it working.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you are.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to figure it out. Yeah, hi, my name is Carlos Torrealba. I am an organizer with Central Florida Jobs with Justice. Was also previously with Organized Florida, heading up their disaster resiliency work, making sure equitable voices in disaster planning and resiliency, and then in larger climate justice work. So excited to see what the county's planning to do moving forward and making sure that those voices are heard. Thanks.
Okay, and last but not least, our co-chair there.
Okay, yes. I'm Layla Jamal. I'm Executive Vice President with NV5. We're an engineering firm, all disciplines. And I'm really excited after listening to all of you, the introductions and people that positions I didn't even know kind of were there and how far along we are in sustainability. So, but I'm excited to build a better future, as our mayor said, with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Thank you, Layla. And with that, we'll go ahead and open it up for public comment.
Yeah, I have to report that at this time we do not have any public comment. Therefore, we can move on with the meeting agenda.
Thank you, Byron. And thank you for the introductions, Byron. With that, I'll also introduce over to Kate Latour with our county attorney's office. And we're going to be going into the meat of the meeting here, briefing on sunshine law as well as ethics as part of protocol for this committee as it is being held in the public. So Kate, the floor is yours. We'll control here on this end. So if you can just let us know when to advance.
Okay. So Jeff, I have my own PowerPoint presentation. So can I put that up and start controlling it on my end?
Sure. We can do that in 1 second.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kate Latour with the County Attorney's Office. It's a privilege to present to this esteemed group today. I'm going to give you a general legal overview of issues that are pertinent when you're serving on a public board. It sounds like a lot of you have experience serving in government, or you've done it before. This Sustainability Advisory Board members might have already heard this, but it might be new to some of you. Let's see if I can get this presentation up. Doesn't look like I'm able to share yet. There we go. All right, we're in business. Here we go. So I'm going to cover basic issues of sunshine law, public records, and voting conflicts today. It goes without saying that we're operating in a very unusual time. Normally, the focus on government boards and actions is on open meetings and the public being sitting right in front of you and the board all sitting together in the same room. But obviously that's not happening during the pandemic. Normally we'd be required to have at least a majority of the group together in one room for you all to conduct business. But under the executive order of the governor, we've been allowed to conduct business completely virtually. So yes, we've made modifications to how the meetings are happening in government, but we still have to abide by the requirements of the sunshine law. So even though we're doing this virtually, all of the things that I'm going to talk to you about still apply, and we have to ensure, or rather, they're just being carried out in a slightly different way. So the sunshine law is intended to provide a right of access to governmental proceedings, so the public has the ability to witness every step of the decision-making process. Even if you're just a recommending body, the sunshine law applies equally to the elected officials and to the appointed boards. And the general rule is that all meetings at which official business is conducted or acts are taken have to happen in a setting that is open to the public and that is noticed to the public. The sunshine law specifically applies to meetings between two or more members of the same board or committee when those members are discussing matters that may foreseeably come before that board. And when we talk about a meeting occurring between two or more members of the same board, I'm talking about a meeting such as the one we're conducting right now. It's formal, it's noticed, it's happening. Sometimes it's happening in chambers. Right now it's virtual, but I'm also talking about telephone calls, text messages, emails, informal conversations, any communication between you and another member of this committee that is regarding committee business, or even something that may not be on a forthcoming agenda, but it might foreseeably come before you for an official action. Those discussions are only permitted to happen in the sunshine So all the requirements of the Sunshine Law have to be met. I can tell that a lot of you, or a couple of you, probably already know each other through work. Just be careful of your discussions regarding this committee's business from going here forward. Those discussions have to happen pursuant to the Sunshine Law. And when the Sunshine Law applies, the requirements are that the meeting be noticed to the public, open to the public, and that minutes be recorded. When we talk about what is notice to the public, we're always looking for reasonable notice. This is not going to be a defined number of days under state law. It's going to be case by case. The county has an administrative regulation that requires that agendas be posted on the county calendar, on the county bulletin board, at least 5 working days prior to the meeting occurring. But sometimes if there's an emergency issue, there will be less notice given. It's always just going to be dependent upon the circumstances. The default rule for the county is, though, 5 working days. And meetings being open to the public usually means that the meetings occur in a location that is easily accessible to the public. It's large enough to accommodate the anticipated number of people that are interested in attending the event. And also the location can't discriminate against certain people from accessing the facility. Right now, in order to ensure access to the public, when we conduct meetings via WebEx, we either are simultaneously televising the meetings on Orange TV, which I think is the case today, or we're giving the public an access code to access the WebEx themselves. And then minutes of the meetings have to be taken, which is always just going to be a brief summary of the actions taken, the matters being discussed. There's no requirement that a verbatim transcript of the meeting be created. And then audio recording, while permitted, video recording permitted, it's not a requirement of the law. So you can have a Sunshine meeting that is completely compliant with the law, where there's no audio recording taken, only minutes of the meeting are what the law requires. There are penalties for violation of the Sunshine Law, both criminal and non-criminal. When determining whether a violation of the Sunshine Law is criminal or non-criminal, you look to the intent. If you're knowingly intending to violate the Sunshine Law, you're trying to skirt around the requirements of the law, that's going to be a criminal violation, whereas an accidental oversight is a non-criminal violation. Just keep in mind that there are real penalties written into the law, and the state attorney is the entity that usually prosecutes violations. Moving on to the public records law, it's the sister law to Sunshine Law. Instead of providing a right of access to governmental proceedings, it provides a right of access to government records. And every person has the right to inspect or copy a public record that is made or received in connection with the transaction of the official business of the public body. And this means that you don't have to be a resident of Orange County to see Orange County records. You don't have to give your name. You don't have to give a reason. If a record exists and it falls under the definition of public record, anybody can ask to see it, inspect it, copy it at any time. There are exemptions provided by statute on certain types of information that would not be considered public. Obvious examples would be Social Security numbers, bank account numbers. There's exemptions for the identification of victims of certain kinds of crimes. The exemptions are endless, and the takeaway that I want you to know is that exemptions are only provided by statute. The county can't create its own exceptions to the public records rule. Judges can't create exemptions. Only the legislature can establish what information would not be disclosed in a public records request. So the definition of public record is broken down here in this first set of bullets. It's any material made or received by an agency in connection with the transaction of official business and used to perpetuate, communicate, or formalize knowledge. So this is true. A public record is a public record, even if it's not a hard copy. It can be an email or a document that's never been printed out. It can be a draft document. Maybe something hasn't been finalized yet, but there's a request to inspect it. If it was made or received in the connection with the transaction of official county business, it's going to be a public record and it's subject to disclosure. So emails are public records and text messages are public records if the text message was made or received as part of county business. Similar to this Sunshine Law, there are also penalties for violating the public records law. It's the same deal, criminal and non-criminal, depending on the intent of the violation, or the violator rather. I'm going to move on to voting conflicts of interest. In general, there's a Florida statute that requires you as a committee member to vote on all matters that come before the committee. You can't abstain from voting just because you're not comfortable with it. Maybe it involves somebody that you know personally, and you don't want to vote against something that would affect them in a personal relationship. That's not a reason to abstain from voting under Florida law. You're only allowed to, or you're required to abstain from voting if you have a voting conflict of interest. And a voting conflict of interest exists if you're voting on a matter that would affect your special private gain or loss, or the special private gain or loss of a relative of yours, or a business associate, a principal, a client of yours would be affected by the vote that you're undertaking. And the term special private gain or loss is a term of art in the statute, and it's almost always going to mean an economic benefit or harm. So a financial result, either in favor of or to the detriment of you as a committee member or a relative or a business associate or client. If you do have this voting conflict of interest, you are required to abstain from voting. It is not an option. Keep in mind that this special private gain or loss may not be remote or speculative. You cannot speculate that maybe it'll affect you negatively or your relative negatively. It has to be a pretty sure thing in order to abstain from voting. You do have a voting conflict. Prior to the vote being taken, you are required to publicly state the nature of your interest in the matter on the record during the meeting. You're required to abstain from voting, and then you are required to file a memo, a voting conflict memo, with the clerk of your board, which is the person on the staff that is responsible for taking the minutes of the meeting. This must be filed with the clerk within 15 days of the vote being taken, and then that memo is incorporated into the minutes of the meeting. If you do have a voting conflict, the law prohibits you from participating in discussing the matter or trying to influence the decision until you first disclose the nature of your conflict. So you may participate in the discussion if you have a voting conflict, but not until you have stated on the record that you have a conflict and what that conflict is. You don't have to participate, that's up to you. I just want you to be aware of the fact that you should state your conflict first, so everybody hearing what you have to say knows that you have this interest, and so they have the full picture before you provide your input. Now, voting conflicts will hinge heavily on the specific facts of your circumstances. And there's an analysis that can go into it. Whether you really have this special private gain or loss is sometimes, there's questions that need to be asked by staff to determine whether you should or must abstain from voting. So I would encourage you all to be familiar with the agenda going into the meetings, know what sorts of actions you're going to be voting on, so you can identify any potential conflicts of interest that you may have prior to the meeting, and then contact county staff so we can help you determine whether you should abstain from voting. There's nothing worse than being at a meeting and as an attorney supporting a board and someone saying, oh wait, I think I have a voting conflict, and then trying to give legal advice on the fly. That's never fun. So I would just encourage you to look ahead and make sure you're familiar with what's coming up, and then let us help you beforehand. That concludes the material that I had prepared for you today. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to stick around and help get those answered. Otherwise, best of luck to the committee, and thank you for your attention.
All right. Any questions for our attorney's office? All right, hearing none. Kate, thank you so much for your briefing, and look forward to working with you. With that, we'll go ahead and kick it off to Layla. You ready to get the meeting going?
Yes, yes.
So we're going to go ahead and shift control back to us here, and Layla will get the slide deck going.
Okay. Here we go. All right. Well, knowing how goal-oriented all of you must be, I'm sure you're excited to hear more about what our goals are going to be for this committee, for each of you. As kind of a way of background, when Mayor DeMings took office, his team actually published a transition report, which you probably have taken a look at, and it outlined the priorities and the strategies for this new initiative. Earlier this year, Orange County Administration assembled a cross-departmental sustainability and resilience team to help collect the data and collaborate to compile a variety of wonderful initiatives that are happening throughout the county. The team decided that while a variety of community initiatives are important, a focus on the internal operations would help position us to better serve and lead by example. So that brings us to really why we're here today and the purpose of this committee. The internal team that I mentioned earlier that's been working since January on laying the foundation for this moment, where we want this committee to focus, is really on these three things. So first, to assist to develop data-driven goals and recommended actions to enhance the county's sustainability and resilience programs. Second, to provide creative and technical feedback on the internal sustainability operations and on the resilience action plan. And third, to provide industry innovation and feedback in order to align our internal and external initiatives. These are the priorities that have been laid out. Certainly, as many of you already had mentioned, because you've been involved, we have been leading by example, and Orange County is ranked nationally. So we have a really good head start. We want to make sure that we are continuing to be a leader in sustainability and resiliency. Secondly, optimizing and measuring the performance of operations against our peer communities. And we've got ways that we've already been doing that, and things that we can share with you that kind of show you who some of the leaders are in these different areas. Third, to position the county for innovative grant funding opportunities and public-private partnerships, which you're all familiar with. And fourth, to reduce infrastructure risks and our operational costs.
Okay, we'll move on to regional and global alignment. Okay, one of the mayor's commitments is to enhance collaboration with the cities and towns in Orange County around sustainability and resilience efforts. The challenge is, how can we get everyone in the region on the same page with similar vision? Of course, Orange County has scaled up its local involvement and has recently engaged with the National Association of Counties and the Florida Association of Counties to join their resilience committee. You may have heard the mayor state in his vision for a world-class community. In order to be world-class, it is the county's desire to align itself with several frameworks framework of unified strategies and targets in order to track progress and measure against others. Thank you. Back to you.
Great. Thank you, Byron. And at this time, I'd like to introduce John Martinez, who introduced himself earlier as the chairman of our existing Sustainability Advisory Board. So, John, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I'm not going to go into too much depth on the history of the sustainability efforts at Orange County, but I will just kind of give you a quick overview. Back in 2013, 2014, Mayor Jacobs put together a sustainability task force committee to, it was a small group to look at 7 different metrics at the time, which were built environment, civic engagement, arts and culture, mobility, education, natural resources, and I think I covered, and community, and then added economic development after that. And so what we did is we put together the Orange County Sustainability Plan, which is part of the Our Home for Life initiative. So yeah, you can see on the screen, that's what it looks like. And those are the focus areas that we got into. And each focus area had several different goals and strategies that were a part of that. And so it was very extensive, very comprehensive. You know, at times I think maybe it was too comprehensive because there's a lot to cover. But part of the committee at the end, it was an 8-month or so process, was to provide some recommendations to the county. And one of those was to form a sustainability advisory board. And I know we have a number of our advisory board members that are a part of this today. And so the advisory board was implemented or put together to keep an eye on the sustainability plan, make sure that things were moving forward, and to essentially hold the plan and the county accountable. And so the advisory board has been in place for a number of years now. And like I said before, I think it's good that we're kind of rethinking it and not trying to reinvent the wheel, but it's important to refresh and to provide new ideas and new minds, put them to work on this, because there are a lot of good things that came out of the sustainability plan that can be improved upon and can be kind of honed, because we've had a number of years now where we've been working on it, and so we can learn from that and make it even better. So I'm glad to be a part of this still, and I'm happy to provide whatever insight I can throughout this process, given my my past history working on it. So thanks. Let me know if you have anything else for me to say, Byron.
Thank you, John Martinez. I just wanted to give everyone kind of a briefing that this is in our first rodeo, as he mentioned, but is definitely time due for an update and refresh as we pivot here in 2020. So with that, I'll go ahead and kick it off and get into the meat of where we are and give you all a briefing as to where what we've been up to for the last few months and since last year. Next slide. So as Layla mentioned, we have assembled an internal green team, and we have kind of put together some recommended sections for this group to take take feedback, as well as parse and separate all of our initiatives in these buckets. So I'm going to give you all a quick recap of those sections and what we can expect. So since January, we kicked off an initiative at the end of January we did have a consultant supporting us in benchmarking and data collection of a variety of different areas and focus areas throughout our internal operations across the county. And as you all know, the county is rather large. We have about 75 departments, all under the Board of County Commissioners, and we've been defining that scope every day as far as how we move forward with our internal operations. I mentioned we established a cross-departmental sustainability and resilience team. We have yet to come up with a fancy name, so I'm excited to get some feedback from you all as to how we can get a nice name going. But this internal collaboration team has been cross-departmental with a variety of folks from across the organization. And we are here at this next slide. Go ahead. Right, we developed a set of scope as well as outlined for a variety of sections and some potential goals and strategies on how to achieve and get there. So just want to show everyone some of the folks that we've assembled throughout the county and the diversity of the departments that are involved in this initiative. So thank you for those on the service, and I'm very appreciative, especially coming on board. They've been very helpful in getting me up to speed in collaboration. So we are here in this phase 3 zone here, where we have now gotten to critical mass to stand up this committee, as Layla and the mayor had alluded to. And we are looking forward to this external engagement and help us guide and set some boundaries, as well as help us develop some of these recommended goals and actions so that we can go ahead and start working. I'm going to go ahead and go through the separate 6 sections of the action plan and of the scope that we're going through. So when we're talking buildings and infrastructure, this is defined as all of our facilities, our water treatment plants, any industrial facilities, their buildings, community centers, parks and recreation facilities, you name it. Anything that has the Orange County logo on it is what we are considering this as part of the buildings and infrastructure. We broke this out into new construction and capital improvements, as well as all of our existing buildings and infrastructure that we have currently throughout our region. And we've defined infrastructure, it's a pretty loose term, but it's a lot of our, the stuff that you can't see, lift stations and all that other fun stuff. So we've tried to make this a pretty robust approach from our infrastructure. From a water use and quality standpoint, this section is divided into a few different areas, but primarily we're focusing on consumption, surface water quality, since a lot of our environmental team manages and treats as well as remediates our surface water bodies throughout our region. Whether we own them or not, we still are responsible for the care and environmental protection of those lakes and bodies. We've also talked through stormwater management and water supply at all of our utility water reclamation and water treatment plants across the county. As far as the materials and management plan, we have, this section is broken out into 2 separate areas, and it is broken out into procurement as well as supply, and we've coined this, we've been using the term that EPA uses, which is materials management, instead of waste reduction or supply chain necessarily, since it's really going back to managing the materials and how we procure and go through them. Trees and lands, we scoped this out as to enhance regional green space and open space, as well as our natural lands that we own and operate, as well as those that we protect, we acquire, and we manage going forward at our parks and recreation facilities, all of our real estate facilities, and our environmental protection facilities, as well as the shared properties with the Florida Forest Service and our water management districts that we work with. We also have the mobility and fleet section, which in this section we are talking through mobility technology, as well as fleet optimization, gasoline fuel reduction, diesel fuel reduction, and looking for the latest and greatest in vehicle technology to embark on. And last section that we have is energy and climate. And this section is specifically focused around our greenhouse gas emissions and our focus on renewable energy and the adoption of renewable energy on our own facilities, and potentially exploring opportunities for offsetting energy usage with other off-site facilities that we are working with. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and take this time to just wanted to give everyone an overview of each of the sections, and then we'll open up some of the handouts that I had provided to everybody by email, but I'll also be sharing these on the screen here. Okay, great. So like I mentioned, everyone should have a copy of these in their email, as well as we've been posting these on the box link that I've been sharing that is available on our website. To dive into the water use and quality a little further, and again, today's purpose was to just give everybody an overview to kind of set the stage for the round of focus groups that Byron and Layla will introduce right after I'm finished here. But this initially just gives you an overview, and we've provided you a where we are now. And this way you can kind of understand how much work we currently do and how much the opportunities that we have across our different organizational departments and divisions. We've put together some proposed goals, and again, keeping in mind that these goals are aligned with the variety of global alignments that Byron had mentioned, as well as some of the other initiatives that we'd like to maintain and move forward. We've also provided a lens as to how we compare against other counties and cities at the moment, and what those counties and cities have committed to as part of their action plans. These discussion topics, which are down here at the bottom, those discussion topics are really going to be for you all to discuss at the focus groups. So I'm not going to go through each one of these today, but I want to give you kind of a gist as how these one sheets were provided and put together by our team. And so for the water use and quality section, just to go through this in a little bit more detail, we're talking to hopefully have 3 goals for each section, 3 to 4 goals for each section. And you'll see that in a variety of actions that are associated with those goals on how we need to get there. So you'll see that for this section, we're talking reduction of pollutant loads from county facilities specifically. We're talking about increasing water efficiency at all of our facilities by a certain date, as well as developing an alternate water supply to meet future demand for drinking water quality, as well as for irrigation and other industrial process uses. Go ahead, going. All right, in the next section, buildings and infrastructure. This section is, again, laid out the same way. We have 4 goals in this section that we are targeting. And we would like to, work on a goal that's about new construction and high performance criteria of the new construction facilities and infrastructure that we build, not just the built environment, but the infrastructure that I mentioned before, the things you can't see usually. The other goal is focused about driving that efficiency of those buildings specifically down by a target date of 2030. And we can achieve that in a variety of ways through our own efficiencies in construction practices, as well as through on or off-site renewable energy deployment. Also, reducing building infrastructure and total energy consumption by a certain date would be our goal as well. Keeping in mind that the county is rapidly growing, not just in population, but also buildings and infrastructure. We are constantly growing, so keep being mindful about how we grow, and that per capita or per square foot growth is really important here for this section. One thing to keep in mind as we kind of go through this section is we currently have a lot of data in process, and some of these goals are data driven in order to help align and help work through those. So we've chosen and we've elected a few staff liaisons to support each of those focus groups, which I'll introduce a little bit later today. On the trees and land section, what we have put together so far is pretty robust. As I mentioned, the county owns about between 35 and 40,000 acres that we're currently mapping right now of passive acreage and green space. And we own, a variety of other real estate properties that are tagged for development or for conservation purposes. So we're actively working on a variety of initiatives right now through our Green Place program that has its own robust plan as well that will be a part of this. But again, for this focus area, we really want to focus around our tree canopy on what we can control on our properties, and our facilities as we design and renovate and maintain our existing properties, as well as enhancing green space throughout all of our county properties and parks. Then that can be publicly available, as well as just that we have land that's available for future or for purposes of conservation or carbon sequestration strategies. All right, on the mobility and fleet section, we've put together this section. I mentioned a little bit about it's in development. I would say that this section is about half baked, and we really are looking for some guidance here. Some of you may be familiar with the transportation funding initiative that we have been pursuing countywide, and due to the COVID-19 crisis, we have put the initiative on hold. However, we are trying to redirect and understand what we can do within our means as we transition through these transportation modernizations. So this, again, is looking internally at our fleet, as well as technologies and automation through the traffic engineering system and traffic technology systems that we maintain out in the community, and how that there's a mix there and collaboration between how we operate our fleet, as well as how we move traffic through our community and transit. This section also talks heavily about electrification and electric vehicles and transitions to other technologies such as CNG, propane, and so on. So we have quite a bit of diverse fleet right now, about 3,400 assets total. A lot of them are heavy duty, and it's going to be difficult to electrify the fleet completely, especially in 2030 timeframe. But we've got some pretty good ideas as to what we can do with the fleet that we have currently. So that again, this section is halfway there, and definitely looking for some feedback from our partners here on this committee. Next one. So the supply chain and materials management section, as I mentioned, is focused around procurement and materials management at our landfill. Of course, keeping in mind that while we own our landfill, we don't have control over what goes in that landfill per se, as that is a community related item. So our goal here is to maximize and optimize the way we process that waste as best as possible, as well as our own county facilities and county procurement, and how we make that less of a burden for our own operations here. So we're looking at some goals regarding sustainable purchasing metrics and how we can track that moving forward, as well as reduction of waste throughout our county departments, our county facilities, and increasing our recycling and diversion rates throughout our facilities. Also, as you know, just a shout out to the convention center, as well as our corrections department. We go through a lot of waste, and a lot of food waste at that. So that is going to be a key strategy for us here as to how we move forward. And for some of you that may be aware, the county currently has a sustainable materials management plan that is out for RFP and bid at the moment to really pave our way forward for our landfill operations in the future. Next one. And the last section I believe, is energy and climate. As I mentioned, this is more from a tracking and metric standpoint with our peer communities. We're talking about greenhouse gas emission reductions across, and what the good news is the county has been tracking greenhouse gas emissions since 2005. We've been combing through all of that data over the last few months, and we're comfortable with setting a 2010 or even sooner baseline for some of those reductions. And again, this is being mindful with our growth as well, since we've added a significant amount of assets as well as other emissions generating assets since then. So the other item that we'd like to focus on is renewable energy and solar PV, not just on our own sites, rooftop, ground mount, you name it, floating, which way possible, but also looking with our partners at Duke Energy, as well as OUC and other regional partners for procurement of solar energy credits and renewable energy credits that we can benefit from and help offset this goal. One thing too that I'm really excited about, and with all of the lands that I mentioned that we have and that we have plans to continue, is to create a nature-based carbon reduction strategy. And this is something that's unique for our region and for our state, honestly, because there's so much development happening across the state of Florida, and a lot of the cities that are showing leadership right now across the state or even across the country are kind of built out, and we have the opportunity to look at our tree canopy and all of the lands that we manage and how that goes forward through carbon sequestration as well as reduction in tree planting efforts. I'm pretty excited about exploring those opportunities with you all, as well as some of the other renewable energy opportunities with our landfill gas program and our FOG program and our aerobic digestion programs that we have. So with that, we can go back to the slide deck. And at this time, again, we are going to be going into the details of each of these sections in the focus groups that we'll go through in a second. But are there any comments or just general suggestions as we kind of kick off this this round of groups next week?
I have a question, or just to throw out, sort of just in a big picture. The one piece that I didn't see so much was the community. So all of the discussion and the thoughtfulness of how you laid everything out with your own operations is obviously very clear to see. And I do know, for instance, you have a partnership with the Solar Energy Loan Fund. That's something Orange County offers the community. So is there sort of a parallel conversation to envision, what does it look like to become renewable, 100% renewable, not only in the operations, but community-wide?
Susan, thank you for bringing that up. So the Our Home for Life plan is a question that has been coming up for a while as to what we're going to be doing with the Our Home for Life plan that John Martinez had presented earlier. In that plan, there's a variety of community actions, over 100 actions that are mostly community-focused actions. And what I'd like to focus on, and as we get to this next part of the agenda, is we have stood up this committee for a series of focus groups next week, and then we'll have another committee, and we'll go through that in a second. And then I'd like to focus, if we have time, on that community action focus on that second part of those focus groups. So we will have prepared for you the actions from the Our Home for Life, and that will be the opportunity to say, hey, do we continue moving forward on this action, or do we refresh it? Do we take that time, and again, not to recreate the wheel of what's already been laid out, because as John Martinez had mentioned, there's a lot of things that we still have not tackled in that plan. So it's a great point. And I'd like to, while this is primarily focused on what we can do right now and lead by example and looking internally, we can use this committee to go ahead and make those recommendations. And by default, Susan, just bringing it up alone, we're going to have some of these gray areas where it's community focused as well as what the county can do specifically. So thank you for bringing that up. But yes, we're kind of being mindful about that so that we're not having to do a whole nother community action effort next year. So we'd like to try to make as best use of time as we can through this time here.
And just one follow-up. I heard several people mention equity issues as people were introducing, and there's never been a time that was so pronounced as we see sort of income and racial disparities and all of that, that we really need to help people in the communities, become more efficient, have their homes improved, the quality, and it's just very clear it's super important. So I appreciate that consideration.
Yeah, Jeff, this is Chris as well. Just to build off of Susan's comments, I guess the clarity is that this committee is really focused on helping to build out Orange County's kind of internal operations sustainability plan. Is that what we're hearing? And then basically taking the Our Home for Life community plan and trying to kind of weave in certain strategies that are relevant for those topics. Is that how you would describe it?
Yes, absolutely. To have the ability to update both at the same time. This is the first time the county has ever done an internally focused initiative, and that was really clear as to what we'd like to at least get everything on the same page for our own operations. It'll help us set up for the future for the community aspects as well, like Susan mentioned.
Got it. And one quick addition that I realized, one thing we are realizing now is food access and food insecurity issues are just being further spotlighted during COVID. And I think, within the city of Orlando's plan, we have local food systems as a core strategy of ours. In the external plan, not so much on the internal, because it's obviously it doesn't really directly tie to our operations. But in the trees and lands section, that might be a good area for us to try to incorporate how community gardens and urban agriculture can be incorporated into this and again, help the overall resilience of the community in general.
Great suggestion, Chris. We've been debating internally with our team as to where that really lives, whether it's in the buildings section or in the trees and lands or somewhere else. So thank you for the suggestion on the food systems. We've been talking about, and as you all know, we have a garden that we utilize at the convention center and several of our parks and rec facilities that we are looking to expand those gardens for community use. So again, that's an internal item that we can that does affect the community, and that's a great example of this gray area of internal versus community related. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, and that could also be in the materials aspect as well. Because, there is a management of different things here. If we want to do gardens, we want to do organic or something that's really healthy. And then on the tail end, then you have food waste. And you could even use that as compost, kind of think about it as how do you keep the cycle going without it being another burden on the budget.
Jeff, this is Ken Peach. I just wanted to remind many of you probably on the committee are familiar with health impact assessments that are used in Europe and elsewhere and here in the U.S. to look at the impact of decisions on human health. So I just want to remind us all, looking across the 6 categories, that while we haven't defined in those health specifically, it really applies to all. So just as everyone's doing their work, please keep in mind, what is the impact on human health of these decisions? Thank you.
Jeff, to dovetail to Ken's point as well, this concept of, and maybe I'm not sure if it's a gap or just something to highlight, it's building in sustainability efforts and activities into all components of the county's initiatives and activities. So simple example, like transportation planning, health impact assessment on transportation routes, complex streets, tree coverage, all those things into that study, then builds it into each and every event we try to achieve as a community. I think it feels like we should have a build it in kind of theme here that not only sits sustainability and resilience by itself and its own group of initiatives, but somehow build it in to each and everything that the county does and all municipalities within the county, so that we all can make this effort come to fruition quickly and really understand it. So it's not just a plan for the shelf; it's a plan that we see in action every day.
John, I'm glad you brought that up because that's something we've discussed the Sustainability Advisory Board as to once we're completed with this initiative and have some direction and having across the organization agree on a set of plans, is that embodiment of what you just said, building our staff, building our policies, our procurement, our standards, all of those, the staff that do the great work, so that this way they understand what it means to them. They have the tools available for them to implement, as well as the knowledge and wherewithal to make those questions and ask those questions as all of the moving parts of our organization. So thank you for bringing that up.
This is Rachel Allen with the Peace and Justice Institute at Valencia College. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So I want to just have some understanding about the role of, when we think people, planet, prosperity, or when I think of resilience, I think of people being able to bounce back. So in terms of my role and the perspective that I might bring, I just want some understanding of what question plays into this. So certain specific things come to mind for me when we think of resiliency and maybe even the built environment. This idea of internet, universal internet access. If we want a resilient community, we've got to create for families to be resilient humans. So when we think of telehealth, when we think of education, when we even think of labor in the workforce right now, having high quality internet access is part of that. So just something like, and that's people thriving. If we want people to be out of poverty, if we want children to be able to learn and thrive and be resilient, we would have to build something like that into our plan. And all about, I'm not clear if this fits into this kind of work, but when we think of resiliency, we think of protecting human life. So something as basic as universal childcare and early childhood education, considering that we have our children birth to 5 kind of thrown into the wind in terms of what's going to happen to them before they land in kindergarten. I mean, this may not sound like a sustainability issue, but when we think of human capital and human resiliency, we've got to have a system in place that protects the human capital of our county so that we can build a viable workforce. And so I'm not sure how these kind of things fit into it, but when I think of equity, human thriving, human capital, these are some of the things that come to mind.
So Rachel, having reached out to you was a very specific, item, because that's what we expect to have you bring that voice. And you'll hear from a variety of voices that we have assembled as part of this team, so that we're being mindful as a county and what we have control over specifically in our own assets, as well as how we can influence for communities. So it's all good, and that's exactly what we want to hear from you. Not whether we're just talking about this greenest building that we just built, but what is that building now providing community benefit in all facets that you just mentioned. So it is definitely all connected. I just wanted to just say thank you for speaking that up.
Thank you.
Jeff, can I ask a question and a quick comment, please?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So with respect to the mobility subcommittee, is this subcommittee only interested in the Orange County fleet, or also the Orange County roads, signals, transportation in general in Orange County?
Yes, sir. This is one section that we are looking for some guidance in. As I mentioned, we had to pause our efforts regarding the transportation funding initiative so that we can build a lot of new infrastructure and existing infrastructure. But in the focus group, we'll definitely be going through your comment a little bit further detail. But yes, that is focused around what we control, which is our traffic engineering department and our technology that we've got that we're implementing right now, and some pretty great stuff that we have going on right now that we can definitely use some help on as to where this fits.
Sure. Yeah, the subcommittee definitely need to expand beyond the fleet, and when we talk about transportation, we are not talking only about mobility. We are talking about mobility and safety. And I can see this directly impact the county. I mean, we have one of the highest pedestrian problems, for example, safety problem in Central Florida. So in the whole country, not only in Florida. So the better safety, the less the demand on emergencies, and therefore the more efficient is the fleet and our roads, etc. So it's all connected. So what I see very much missing from what you highlighted in the introduction about the mobility committee is the safety is missing. But again, yes, I can talk more when we talk in the subcommittee about that issue. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, we do have a few more items on the agenda, so if there's any other comments, I'd like to just wait till the end so that make sure we can get through the rest of what we wanted to accomplish today. But thank you for your comments so far. So with that, I'll go ahead and kick it over to Byron again to go over the subcommittees and focus groups that we're already talking through and wanting to jump in.
Okay, so as Jeff mentioned, 6 subcommittees will convene to develop recommendations and changes to the draft plans based on the priorities focused on timeline and impact. The subcommittees will be supported by Orange County staff who will be responsible for preparing agendas, presenting supporting data and information, conducting research, reviewing best practices and providing summary and notes of each meeting. Each of the committee members has been assigned to one of the committee. However, you are welcome to attend other committee meetings, but not required. That's what is that out there. All right, so what I'll do right now is go through the 6 committees. We'll start off first with the building and infrastructure. You will see it on the screen here. These are the folks who are assigned to it. See from Orange County Administration staff. You have Adele, Bill, Ivan, Christy, Philip, and Samuel. On the water use and quality, you have Jennifer from Orange County, and of course you have Leah, our co-chair. You have Derek, Christopher, Kenneth, Madeline, Rachel, and Susie. On our supply chain management, chain and material management, you have David will be from staff. You have Ashia, Judith, Lewis, Ray, Shana, Leo, and Yara on that also. Looking at our tree and land subcommittee, you have Jane from our Orange County staff. You have Alex, Jennifer, this is Rupert, John, Malvin, Monica, Nicole, and Tommy. Okay, moving on to the next one is tree and land. You have Jane from Orange County, Alex. No, I did that one already. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, my people. So, mobility and fleet. You have Jeff from Orange County. You have Carlos, David, John Martinez, John, Mohammed, and Susan Bickman. And of course, last but not least, the Energy and Climate Action Subcommittee. You have Lori from the staff. You have myself, Chris Castor, Jennifer, Jim, Raquel, and Sam.
So again, just to summarize, Byron, what he had mentioned earlier, these are committees that we set up just to have some distribution of folks so that we're not all going to one specific section, and that we make sure that we get a good number of equitable voices for each of them. So if there's some, we'll be distributing this afterwards, and if there's any questions for next week or any potential changes that you guys want to swap on from another committee, please reach out to me, specifically if there's any glaring issues or changes. We tried our best to work on where is best fit for those people. So just go ahead and let me know directly if you have any questions or recommended changes for changing those up. And again, everyone is welcome to attend the other focus groups. It's not like you're not welcome. All these meetings will be open to everybody, just trying to keep and divide and conquer the different sections. Any questions initially before we continue as we close out?
I have a quick question, Jeff. In terms of when we're going to work on our subcommittees, if we have any needs for information about the county as we have our discussions, would that staff person be able to reach back and provide some of that information?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. So each of these teams will be chaired by myself and Lori Forsman, as well as one of our internal sustainability resilience team members that has been a part of creating what we've come up with so far. So yes, we'll have plenty of data and back end work. The summary sheets that we've all provided to you are really just a very high level of what we've been working on, and again, a summary as to what we've been working on. There's a lot of great work that we've been doing for the past month and a half here, so plenty of information to follow up.
Thank you.
Layla's going to be talking over more about the subcommittee schedule and just how we're going to engage for this sprint over this next month. So Layla, if you could take that piece out, that'd be great.
Yep. Okay, here we go. So as mentioned, these meetings are going to start convening next week. You'll be getting invites, and the format will be just as today. Same type of a format for these meetings. These are the items that you'll be going over, as was already discussed, and again, you've got an assignment, but you can always sit down on another one if you'd like. So next slide, let's look at the actual schedules, just in case you're interested and want to get yours on your calendar. These are the 6, and these are the schedules for next week. Next slide is the, we're going to come back after these meetings have been held, and the next slide you'll see is our at-large committee meeting. August the 7th. So make sure that you've got that one where we'll all come back and kind of get a first blush over your the work that's been done. Then you'll have a second set of subcommittee meetings the week of August the 10th through the 14th. And then our final at-large on August the 28th, 9:30. Note, we're starting 30 minutes earlier. Thank you, guys. On the at-larges, we'll start at 9:30 rather than 9 a.m. as we did this morning. And that's it for the schedule. Just to recap on that, Layla, so the purpose of next week will be to go ahead and get into the details and ask questions. We'll be going through getting the really details and ironing this out, and then we'll come back to the large committee format. We'll report out on how our progress is going. We'll be updating those summary sheets with your feedback as we go and report out how these sections are coming along. And then the second set of subcommittee meetings will really be that opportunity to tie up any loose ends that we didn't get to in discussion, as well as, like I mentioned to Susan and Rachel's point, address the action items that we have in our Home for Life community plan. And that will be intentionally, we'll deliver that as part of the facilitated discussions in these different meetings. And we'll have an agenda for those meetings and some different discussions as we talk through and some of the items that we've prepared already that we appreciate your feedback on. Okay. So just for clarity there. Right. Well, I guess in closing, just to thank you, and I think, Byron, do you have any other closing comments? Otherwise, I guess we'll let Jeff finish it off. Yeah. Layla and Byron, we do have. Yeah. I wanted to make sure we at least got those finished out, so we do have some time for additional discussion or anything else that we can prepare as staff as we go through and set up for this next round. Please. Please discuss now. That I just wanted to make sure we were able to see that last part of the agenda. Okay. So team and committee, do we have any other gaps or items that would be helpful in preparation for this next few weeks?
Jeff, I have a quick comment, if possible. I put over in the chat a question as it relates to the Sustainable Development Goals. I know that's something that you're passionate about, and over the course of the last few years, we've been trying to incorporate this global framework for sustainability and resilience into the local priorities of Mayor Dyer and the City of Orlando Council. Do you envision the SDGs somehow being woven into this plan? And if so, how?
Great question. So Byron did mention that earlier as far as the regional and global alignment. And we have been tracking each of these initiatives as to how we can align these with the SDGs, with our internal initiatives, knowing that a lot of the SDGs are externally focused community initiatives as well. But it's been something that we've been tracking, and just kind of as we set goals and actions, how this aligns, where this aligns. But Chris, honestly, that's what one of the intent was for this team, is to really help guide us so that we can align with the voluntary local reporting efforts that you have going on, as well as what we've been working on regionally with the collaborative. So it's a good point there.
Great, thank you. That's good to hear. And we'll work to weave that in each one of these subcommittees where possible.
One thing too to keep in mind, if anyone would like some additional homework or reading, I know everyone is just waiting and not doing nothing these days, but aside from these summary sheets that we've prepared for you, where it provides you at least where we are right now, I would encourage you to go on our ocfl.net sustainability page, where you can see the Our Home for Life plan, which will address a lot of those community actions. But please know that Lori Forsman and myself and the team, we've been part of that plan since the inception of that plan, and we're trying to refine and redirect the plan as it is, because as John mentioned earlier, the plan has a lot of goals and actions. There was over 100 goals that we had to achieve, and we really want to try to condense those goals into, and utilizing this committee of that, is that even a priority anymore, or is that even appropriate for us to pursue any longer? So if for those of you that are itching for some additional information on our community strategies, please use that as some homework, and I'll be happy to send that out in the homework, in the follow-up for this email, or for this committee.
Thank you, Jeff. This is Adele. This is kind of a question I was going to ask. For each subcommittee, are we going to get separate documentation prior to the meetings?
So we'll provide an agenda, as well as the summary sheets are really the documentation that will lead the discussion. These discussion topics that are on the summary sheets at the bottom will be part of some of the items that we'll be discussing, as well as more that's been prepared that just didn't make it on the 8 bullets on this summary sheet.
Okay, and the summary sheet, that's the one that's posted on Box, right?
Yes, sir. And I just sent that out this morning again before the meeting.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Jeff, it's Susie Torres. I have a question.
Yeah, absolutely.
So these summary sheets are excellent and a lot of good work, and it's a great start for the committee work. It seems to me, though, they're very much focused on the sustainability side, and really a good framework for a sustainability plan. But since this is also going to be a resilience kind of strategy, I'm wondering if you've done any kind of risk assessment or any kind of vulnerability assessment, and are there things that we should be looking at to add to what you've already done in terms of risk reduction? Because I don't see anything on public health, pandemic, disease, or kind of like healthy and safe communities. So I'm just kind of curious about that angle, since it's both a sustainability and a resilience strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. Good point there. So from a resilience infrastructure standpoint, that's where a lot of those items with regards to risk and vulnerabilities have come up in our discussions thus far, as well as our buildings and design of our buildings and critical infrastructure that are obviously community buildings at the same time, such as our parks and recreation facilities, or our emergency, any of those rapid response facilities. But as far as the health and wellness component, that is something that we can definitely tackle and talk through at the focus group, since you'll see in the Our Home for Life plan, there's a whole initiative regarding health. And in fact, Ken Peach, who is on this committee here today, introduced himself, who's been kind of chairing that initiative over the last few years. But we can definitely use this time, especially in result of the crisis that we're in right now, to be mindful of what changes can we move forward for our other programs for the community.
Thank you.
I have a quick question. Thinking about all the initiatives and everything, should the committees be thinking about adoption strategies? Like how, because I mean, we could establish a goal, but then how do we get there? Like, how do we incorporate that into actual operations? Is there a kind of a space for that in the discussion?
Yeah, so each of these discussions will go through what we've kind of framed out as where we've gone. There's a lot of, as I mentioned, holes and undetermined still that we would like to get your feedback on, and to how the best way to achieve those is really, to your point, what we'd like to do. And as far as achievement strategies and the ways to get there, it's just something for us to be really mindful of, making this action plan achievable and measurable, as and really focused on very specific timelines, and focused on some of the real recommendations that we can have, so that our team can go ahead and prepare those timelines and forecasts and scenarios for moving forward. But we really want to, sign ourselves up for something that we want to accomplish and can accomplish, while also being innovative and trying to be visionary thinking. In this light of crisis that we're in right now, there's a lot of uncertainties with our, just in the region and operations. So also being mindful of that is going to be a challenge, but we are prepared to continue moving forward in that regard.
That's good. Thank you.
Jeff, I have a question. Thank you for assigning us to committees, and appreciate that. But if we're interested in another committee and we're able to sit in on those, are we able to provide input? Or are we just observers?
Yes, absolutely. And thank you, Bill, for bringing that up, because I meant to just clarify that. I know that Kate's presentation earlier had alluded to voting power or anything. This committee is a task force, essentially. It's not a voting committee. Our Sustainability Advisory Board is a recommending board that we've had for about 5 years. They do have, power to vote and recommend to the Board of County Commissioners specific actions. But this committee here is a task force to develop and help us craft this so that we can keep it moving forward. So, Bill, absolutely, you have the ability to attend all of the meetings if you would like to, and we'd graciously accept anybody attending those meetings. I just wanted to be mindful of everybody's time and making sure that everyone had an equal opportunity, as well as we were able to achieve some of these goals and discussions. So yeah, you can absolutely provide input. Just to summarize, in all of the schedules, and I believe everybody now has the invitations for each of those meetings. So feel free to attend. I know there was some question with regards to, do I need to attend all? So the answer is no, but you can attend however many as you like. Okay, with no other questions, last call. All right. So again, thank you so much to each of you. Byron and Layla, thank you so much for your efforts here. And I'll kick it to Byron and Layla for any last closing remarks. I think we've had a really good kickoff for today, at least understanding what where we're coming from, why we're doing this, and some of the intent of this committee here for the short term. I appreciate everyone's willingness to sprint and get this done. We'd like to get this done, at the start of, it'll be the perfect start to our year, our fiscal year, which starts in October. So it'd be a perfect start to kind of set this direction for years coming forward. So again, thank you to each of you. I'll kick it to Byron, Layla, for any last closing remarks for the team. Layla?
Thank you all. Good luck with your meetings next week.
For me, I just want to thank everyone for taking the time out of your busy schedule for doing a couple of things, being on this committee, and also going to be providing your input to the subcommittee, all your expertise. This is something I can tell you, that's working with the county staff, that they are very, very excited about having experts in the community coming together, helping them put together a plan so they can be as sustainable and reliant as possible, and helping them in. How I look at this as an Orange County resident, I see all of this effort being a benefit to the whole community, both in the county and the cities and towns what resides in the county. So for everybody, I just want to say thank you for taking the time and also being a part of this. Thank you very much. So I'm looking forward starting next week to see where we go, and also when we report back what the progress we have made. Thank you again.
All right, with that, this concludes this meeting, and we'll follow up with an email as well as keeping an eye out for the box account that will be updated throughout and we'll be communicating throughout. So thank you very much for joining, and we'll talk to you next week. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jeff and team.
Thank you.
Good to see everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.